morning to everyone. I am very happy to have the opportunity to express my thoughts on this auspicious occasion of Independence Day. India celebrates its 75th year of independence on 15th August. Like every year, the tricolour is unfurled from the Red Fort, Old Delhi, by the Prime Minister of India. On this day, the citizens pay respect to all the great leaders who fought bravely for India's independence in the past. However, this year, just like the other year, there will be no granders who fought bravely for India's independence in the past. However, this year, just like the other year, there will be no grand celebrations or social gatherings due to COVID-19 pandemic. Today we are here virtually gathered to acknowledge our privilege of being born in a free India and celebrate the 75th Independence Day of our country. We need to ask those born before 1947 to know the pangs of anguish of being enslaved under a colonial rule. For every Indian in those days, it was indeed a Herculean task to fight against those powerful giants, the British. Those difficult times and struggles must not be allowed to fade away from our memories. However, every Independence Day, we not only celebrate our freedom, but we also pay tribute to the ones who fought for it, to the ones who held a vision for our country, and to the ones who sacrificed themselves for the same. Every year, the Independence Day is celebrated with grandeur, gaiety, fervor, and enthusiasm. This year also, the Independence Day is celebrated in a manner befitting the occasion. However, in view of spread of COVID-19 pandemic, while organizing various programs and activities for the Independence Day celebration, it is imperative to follow certain preventive measures as maintaining social distancing, wearing of masks, proper sanitization, avoiding large congregations, protecting vulnerable people, etc. And follow all guidelines related to COVID-19 issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Therefore, all programs are to be organized in a way that large congregation of people is avoided and technology is used in a best possible manner for celebration for it, the country's proudest day. But it cannot be overlooked. There are still many areas where our country needs improvement. No doubt, there is no alien power ruling us. But it cannot be ignored. India is still struggling for freedom, for multitude of social problems. Our country is suffering from widespread corruption, female infanticide, farmers' fight for rights, farmers' suicide, poverty, communal disharmony, child labor, surging crime, and corruption are few roadblocks in India's successful journey ahead. The situation is really grim, and we, as responsible citizens, should not turn a blind eye. For instance, India is a home of world's largest number of child laborers in the world. Studies have proven that improvement in educational system has proved to be an effective measure in curbing this problem. Sadly, if we look around, we can easily find children being employed as helping hands for domestic and commercial purposes. One is greatly pained to see that in a country which gave birth to daughters like Rani Lakshmi Bai and Indira Gandhi and etc. and a number of female infanticides like killed every day. Though the government has recently come up with a slogan, "Don't kill your daughter, the state will adopt it." In reality, it has not been successful in curbing this danger. We might have achieved independence from the British rule, but we still aren't free. We are still slaves of our narrow thinking. We are still slaves of poverty. We are still slaves of malnutrition. We are still slaves of casteism. We are still slaves of misinformation through which even personalities like Pandit Nehru and Gandhiji can be presented as anti-heroes. What is my position today as a teacher of this great nation? Great teachers shape future leaders. We, the educators,